And good afternoon to everybody. Once again, live on the wonderful YouTube. It is good afternoon for everyone today. As from the States, I have two guests just around their lunchtime. For me, it is late afternoon. So with me tonight, I have the creators of another comic book called Hero, H-I-R-O, which we'll get to what the title actually means in a second. And I got with me Mutt-Man
Hey,
and
hey.
Macho Dan. Oh, there you
Hey,
go.
what's going on?
Hey, guys.
Awesome.
Lewis,
Okay.
thank you for having us, man. We really appreciate it.
No, yeah, I mean, whatever you guys want. Anytime. My car, full use of my swimming pool,
All right.
anytime, no problem. Um, I'm gonna go and start sharing your page. So while you speak about it, I will be scrolling up and down to kind of illustrate your plug with some moving images. Basically, it's the closest thing you get from cinema. So let me just
Okay,
start. Let me start sharing this. This is usually where I fumble. Doesn't matter how many times I do it. Send to everyone. All right. So I hope everybody's watching it.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, looks perfect.
Looks good there. Looks good everywhere. Okay, let me just. All right. So once again, we got another IndieGogo project here. We've been going quite over a few in these last couple of months. This time around is Hero. I have seen on social media pages your black and white pages over the last few months. You've been announcing this book, and I immediately wanted to follow this up. It's a kind of pages I dig. It's kind of uh, ink work that I like. Is a really indie book. I think is a great concept as well. And it's basically a 48-page full color graphic novel that is available now on IndieGogo. So for everyone listening, it is available for 25 more days, and you do have a fixed goal. So anyone interested in it, hopefully we'll have quite a few by the end of this stream. We'll have to go there straight away and no
Yeah, be
laptops.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a fixed goal. And there's a little bit, I guess you probably know about IndieGogos, but we decided that we wanted to, like if you do a flex goal, you get money no matter what, but we didn't want to take people's money if we weren't able to deliver the quality of product that we want to get. So yeah, we have a fixed goal. It says you're looking at it in pounds. But it's about 8,500 US is what we're looking to get. And that's going to give you guys 48 pages of really high quality, like very high quality print and high quality art and cool story. That's what we're hoping.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, let me just go over the creative team here. So who's the writer?
That's me, Macho Dan.
Oh, all right. Okay. Oh, I actually thought no, you're right. For a moment there, I thought it was the other way around, but no, of course, because Mutt-Man, I've seen your pictures all over the web,
Yep.
and so you guys have been working on this for some time. And what is then the story of the book? What is the actual plot?
Yeah, absolutely. So HIRO, it stands for H-I-R-O. It stands for Hardware Integrated Reanimation Ordnance. And so what HIRO is, he stems from a project. It was a military project to create a way to reanimate soldiers that have died in battle. And if when these soldiers pass away, we're able to get them back in the fight for a second round. In our book, we're at war with Russia, and in our alternate reality, Russia is kicking our tail. Like they're kicking everybody's tail in the world here. And so the United States has come up with a plan to try and get more boys back in the field so that they can fight off the communists that are trying to take them over. And so that's where HIRO comes in. He's kind of a pet project for our our lead character, his name's Dr. Leof Kruppen. He's the one that is on the cover of the comic there. And so basically he creates this robot that can reanimate soldiers, but H.I.R.O is different from anything else you're going to be seeing, especially the units that are in the first 16-page graphic, or the first 16-page Zero issue that we have for free on the IndieGogo. H.I.R.O is going to be something more. He's going to be able to develop. He's going to be able to change. He's going to get emotions, and he's going to become self-aware. So we're trying to tell a very human story with a robot, which is a hard thing to do in a lot of cases, but we think we're up to the task with a really original story and some really awesome art.
All right. Well, I'm going to interrupt you there. And so here is this little kind of spider-like robot that we're looking at it here now on this page, right? I find him very cute. He comes over to that soldier. You can see he's got 2 big bullet holes on his back, poor thing, and then just strangles him from the back. Puts his little helmet on, does his thing. His clothes kind of melt away, leaving his trousers though for decency. And then suddenly, you got there a vein popping, butch kind of zombie-like beast of a man, ready for more battle. He doesn't eat, he doesn't sleep, he doesn't care. He's just gonna kick ass. And here it is, kicking ass. 1 tooth out, straight at the head. Does something there. I'm not sure what he sees because I'm not fluent in gun wearing, but I like this. I guess he's going semi-automatic here as he's going 1 by 1.
Yeah.
And then the guy, obviously a bastard of a Ruski, comes from behind, shoves a blade on his back. What the hell is this? And that's it. I mean, he shoots him while also kind of punching him with the gun. So that's that's it. It's a full house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brutal action. Right, that's what we're all about, Lewis. Brutal action.
Yeah.
That's it. That's in my middle name. So basically, it's a straight sci-fi, isn't it? I mean, we're talking about robots. We're talking about kind of genetics. We're talking about kind of mutations. So it's a straight sci-fi mixed with action, basically action scenes, right?
Yeah.
We go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
I was just gonna say it definitely has a pinch of superhero in it, because when H.I.R.O is created, when the H.I.R.O fighter is created from the robot and the corpse merging, he is a super soldier. So he's Captain America level strength, agility, speed, combat readiness, combat strategy. There's an AI unit that the robot has AI in it that downloads all the battle plans, combat strategy, and all that kind of stuff directly into the zombie's brain. Right. So this does have superhero qualities to it, as well as the things you mentioned before.
Right. But just to clarify, is it just the actual machine here that transforms the soldiers? That's what H.I.R.O is. And is it only one machine and he only modifies one soldier, or he does that for several?
Well, that's a great question. So the machine itself is what we would call the H.I.R.O unit, but it really takes the unit, the robot, and the soldier to become like the persona of H.I.R.O. So yeah, they're kind of together. And yes, like if that body, like let's say that body, he's hoping to be on a one of those soldiers for a while, but let's say one gets torn up, shot all to pieces or whatever, H.I.R.O can detach, move to another body and reanimate that one too. And that's kind of where some of the twist of our story comes in, is because we want to be able to so the H.I.R.O unit, he's not just latching on and he's controlling that body and he's a super soldier. He's absorbing memories and feelings and parts of the human that was left there, like a part of the soul, I guess you could say it that way.
Yeah.
And the robot H.I.R.O himself learns. So he starts off and he might be kind of more like a baby. He's just like learning what hot and cold are, or like good and bad. And eventually he's able to perceive more, feel more, and learn all these concepts through the emotions and through the memories of these soldiers that have passed away. So you think
Yeah,
it's going to
it's like a machine gun is a piece of ordnance, right?
Mhm.
And so then a machine gunner would be someone who uses the machine gun, right? So Hero is a piece of ordnance to begin with. He's hardware integrated reanimation ordnance. And
right?
when when that ordnance is placed on a corpse, that's what becomes a hero,
Mhm.
right? So that's kind of how you think about it. And as far as like how many there are and what they can do, you have to read the story for that, because
Yeah,
we want to start small. We don't want to get too big too quick. We want to start small and a little bit more intimate, because we're talking about Hero absorbing humanity through the brain of the corpse that he's on. So we're going to kind of be individualistic about it and start kind of small with our story, but then it's going to expand out.
Mhm.
And yeah, who knows? There might be thousands of these things. There might be 10. We're not going to give that away yet, because we want to
Okay.
kind of develop that out.
I see.
Yep.
But right. Okay. Well, I got to say, very interesting twist there. I actually think I heard you guys saying this somewhere or mentioning this, but I think is a great way to look at the story, or to tell a great point of view to tell the story from. Because usually in these things, when there's a piece of hardware that kind of Frankenstein someone,
hmm
usually it's that someone, obviously using Frankenstein example
hmm
as most obvious example, that someone is usually the focus of the story. This is the other way around. So
hmm
actually, the piece of hardware, it becomes the focus of the story, because he's the one that, by absorbing, everything that is part of the deceased soldiers that he's going to mutate, he actually learns and starts modifying itself, and then eventually he will obviously, it will be a plot point to further
Sure.
story. That's very
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't, no, I wasn't actually remembering that I heard that, but yeah, it's a very interesting way to tell a story. I wanted to show some of your kick-ass inked pages. I'm just not sure if you have some here.
Mm.
I don't think you do. I had seen them before. I wanted to share them. Unfortunately, I didn't do
You,
my homework correctly. So I tell you what, guys, I'm just gonna stop sharing this here for a second.
Well, you know what you can do is just go to my Instagram page. It's Mutt-Man
Yeah,
Comics on Instagram, and you can see all of it there pretty much.
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. At the same time, I'm actually just gonna lower the volume here.
While you're doing that, Dan, why don't you talk about our latest perk?
Yeah, actually, you had it up on the page there, which was kind of perfect. But what we've
I
done is,
I can
are you
tell you
there?
one thing though.
Yeah.
Before you guys go on the perks, what you can tell me is how you guys got together, and how did you conceive this, and how long it took you guys to actually deliver the book, because I know the book is practically complete, or even maybe complete. And then after that, I'll share the pages again, and we can go over perk by perk. How does that sound?
Yeah, that's
Sure,
fine.
sounds great.
Yeah, that's
Dan,
great.
I'll tell it since you always
Yeah.
tell this part of the story.
Yeah, you go for it.
You do the sharing.
Dan was a young homeless boy, and I found him on the street, and I raised him as my own, and fed him a steady diet of squirrel and chicken gravy
Mm.
and
Yeah.
and milk, and then showed him comic books, and that's how he grew up to be. No, Dan and me have been buddies for man, a long time now,
Yeah.
and we kind of found out we were kind of hanging out around each other, and then we kind of found out that each other liked the comics, and so then we were all geeking out and going to conventions and stuff together. And one day Dan came to me and he said, "I had a weird dream last night," and he said, "I dreamed that there was this crazy flying robot." And it was holding up a dead carcass, but it was pretending to be the carcass. And I said, that might be one of the weirdest things I've ever heard. He said, yeah, it looked like the robot from Empire Strikes Back, the Imperial spy droid. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. So I started drawing it out just to kind of put some concepts on paper. And we just kind of, we met one night and we're going over it. And we just basically developed out this crazy, weird comic book theory about how the robotics wants to be human. And And then we developed it even further out to what you see today. And it's been the course of probably 4 years that we've kind of been playing with it, just building the concepts and then building the story. And now we're here, and we've got an IndieGogo together, and I couldn't be happier with my partner. Dan is one of the coolest guys around, and he loves comics, and he loves all the things that we're making. So it's been a blast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So you guys have been putting this book together for quite some time, right? You guys have worked on the story and art, and you're planning to have more books following this one, right? I mean, is a long arc, is a long story arc you have planned?
Well, I think correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, but I think our idea right now is this first 48 pages will be a story. That story can be continued. I think our ultimate goal is what, 3, right, Jason?
We're looking at a trilogy at this point, but we're really we're at the early stage. So we want to see what the fans say. You know, if people really like the concept and like how we kind of set the first one up, then we can definitely go forward in that same vein and set the next couple up the same way. If people kind of want to see a different direction, we're going to listen to customer feedback, and we're here to make fun comics that people really enjoy. So customer feedback is going to be very important to us.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a self-contained story at the moment. So I'm just gonna share the screen again, and now you can obviously take us through your IndieGogo campaign from the top, if you don't mind. From the top, I like to kind of a lot of people are not. I'm always not hoping, but I'm always thinking that if anyone listening to any of these streams might not be fluent in IndieGogo at all or know anything about crowdfunding or Kickstarters. So it's always good to anyone that I invite on to actually take people through the page and just tell what exactly you have here on offer in case they feel so compelled to go there and leave a little bit of money in. So I think you're looking at the top where it says the 48-page signed comic. As you go through, take as long as you like, and I'll just scroll down as best as I can.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'll go through the first few, and then I'm gonna let Jason talk about his favorite ones. So, but first we'll start off at the top. So we got our standard issue, Hero Blood of Patriots. It's a 48-page comic. We're gonna sign it. We're looking forward to hopefully having to sign tons of comic books for people, unless they don't want us to, and they can put that in the comments, and we won't put our scratch it up, I guess, too bad. But this comic right here is we're looking to just make a really high quality print of this book and send it out to everyone that has backed us on this one, and that's what you're getting at this perk level. So $20, and it is plus shipping. We have a pretty low shipping rate for worldwide, which is I think $15 for worldwide, which is we've looked, and it's a lot cheaper than a lot of other people. So we're hoping we're not gonna get too burned on that, but we want to be able to get it out to people that are overseas without them having to spend the same amount of money on the book as they would on shipping. We've seen that as a complaint sometimes. So there's that one, and then the next one, Dan.
$20 for the book, $15 for international shipping, and you get the digital one as well.
Yep. Well, so you get the copy of Hero Blood of Patriots, and then you also get, it's not the digital edition, but you get what we're calling a virtual high five, which is also the next perk level down. So I'll talk about this at the same time.
Okay, here we go.
What a virtual, there you go. What a virtual high five is it's pretty exciting. This is something that I came up with. Jason loved it, so we put it in there, and I'm sort of regretting my decision, but here's what's going to happen. It is a shout out basically from me to every single backer at any dollar amount. If you back this book, it doesn't matter if you put in the $5, $8, all the way up to the $800, you're going to get a high five from me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to video myself. Each one is going to be unique. I'm going to I'm going to have to be really creative and come up with different ways to do this, but I'm going to call you out by name or Twitter handle or whatever you prefer. I'm going to give you a high five in some manner, and I'm going to tweet it out for the world to see how much I appreciate you. So yeah, it's, and at this dollar level, like if you give us $5, the least I can do is give you a virtual high five. So I'm looking forward to creating all of these crazy things that I'm going to have to think of.
That's fun and awesome. You're going to have to create a hologram just for this, man. You're going to have to go to to your scientist that creates Hero for him to come up with some tech.
I'm going to have to, like, I might have to just like put out a plea for people to help me think up ideas, because if I get like 500 people, it's going to be painful for me. It's going to be hard. And I'm sure Jason will enjoy watching.
I'm going to love it. I can't wait. I can't wait to see Dan come up with 500 different high five approaches.
Sounds fun.
Hey, Lou, before you guys go down, Lewis, can you move back up, please, just a little bit, and show where that button is for the free 16-page? We need to talk about that.
Right over the video, right over top, right there.
Oh, yes. Right here?
Yep. Right there.
Yes.
That's it.
Download Zero Issue free. Yeah, tell us more about this Zero Issue. It's a great cover, which you guys actually don't have here. But I love this cover. You got the American flag behind. You got this G-Man at the back. Well, you got the scientists that are presuming here, right here in the middle, the zombie fight soldiers. So tell us about what is this? Is this like an ASH scan? Is it like a preview issue? What is it?
All right, go ahead and click on it, and we can show you.
Let's see. Is it an animation?
Yeah, you can just click on that right there, and it'll show you the.
Sometimes the animations break down. Oh, here we go.
Yep. And you can download it from there and read 16 pages of hero action.
Oh, I see. It's okay, great. This is a link to the actual book. Awesome.
Yeah.
We're giving that away free. We believe in the story, and we're giving that away free just so we can set everything up. And basically, this first Zero issue just kind of shows the first attempt at creating a hero. Except in this phase, it's called a CRO unit, which stands for Combat Reanimation Ordnance. And the CRO unit is not hero, but the development of CRO leads to hero. But this gives you a setup for our character, so you can see who some of our main players are. And you can read the story that kind of gets you up to speed on where we're starting out with our Blood of Patriots 48-pager.
Awesome. And this is actually the pages that I know from you guys, which great. It actually saves me a little bit of time later on, because this is what I wanted to share. Yeah, I'm loving the inks here, and I'm also loving the choice of panels and the construction of the pages. I like it all. It's great fun.
Thank you.
Here we go. That's I like the table where this is done. This big kind of spherical base with all the gears there in the middle, and then just kind of a cold slab, concrete slab. It's kind of cool.
It's very cool.
And your scientist here is looking very much like my scientist still, but it's okay. I'll let that pass. He's got the same scruffy Richard Branson kind of a millionaire scientist kind of hair. Glasses are a little bit different, but I like it. Very cool. So this is 16 pages, right?
16 pages. That's right.
Okay. He wakes up, and when just to finding out, when he wakes up and he says, "What am I?" Is this the actual soldier, or is this the hero unit that is looking at itself?
In this, go ahead, Jason.
Well, I was going to say it is a combination voice. So if you think about how maybe Venom attaches to Eddie Brock, and then they kind of have this sort of like one combined Venom voice. That's sort of what it's like. It's a combined voice that is both digital and physical.
And without wanting to give too much away from the story, is there going to be conflicts between the human host and the unit, or the unit is going to be in control and shuts down the human host if there's a problem? Kind of like a RoboCop kind of dilemma.
If you go down a couple more pages, you'll be able to see the answer to that question.
Oh, well, there you go.
In this particular one, like Jason was saying, this is what we call a CRO unit, C-R-O. And this is the beginning of what Hero becomes. So what's going on without giving, I mean, and you're able to read this in the 16 pages, but what happens is basically this unit, the CRO unit, is only able to tap into a certain part of the brain. It's not able to fully kind of fully work with the human brain, it stops in its rage phase. So it stops where in this like animal vicious like phase where the human host, the body, basically goes haywire. It has crazy strength, crazy agility, and it starts like ripping stuff apart. It looks for anything that's alive and it goes after it to kill it. So that's kind of where it is.
Man.
Yeah,
I love this shot here, man. I mean, I guess this is like probably just a light in the ceiling, but and he's opening it up like probably looking for an exit. But what I like about it is that the chrome, well, the dome here of the light kind of matches his chrome dome.
Yeah.
And it's like almost like an opposite kind of thing. So he's like looking eye to eye because he got this reflection here, and so you got his mouth and his helmet here, and then on the other side it's almost like an opposite kind of picture. You got the helmet facing down, and this would be like, you know, the inside, what is underneath the helmet. So almost like the human organic part of it. So it's it's probably something that, you know, was not intentional. It's just subconsciously I'm kind of thinking this is a great shot because it's almost like a reverse picture in itself. It's really cool. You guys have great choice of shots. I like the way the story's told.
Thank you very much.
Oh, and there you go. He was just about to go, and there's the when, and he falls down. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll keep on going through this. Anything else you guys want to add to this play, or shall I just go back to the IndieGogo and we can go through some more of the perks?
Well, you know, just as far as characters go, that guy right there in the wheelchair.
Here you go.
That is Dr. Perez, and Dr. Perez, he gives his little backstory right there, but he's crucial to the design of H.I.R.O, as you'll see in the next panel. Because he is the designer of the AI. And so what Dr. Crouppen is a biotech scientist. So the biotech is part of it, but the AI is the unique part of it.
Mm-hmm. And just speaking as a comic book maker, besides being a fan, does this issue 0 allows you guys to kind of get most of the exposition out of the way, and then obviously on the main 48 pages just go all out on the action? Is that the main intention? Because
that's exactly right. You're exactly right.
Good. Yeah. Very good.
It's not that it's boring stuff, but we just want to get all, like you said, that's a good word, the exposition. Like we want to explain everything and get all that down so that you can just have that, read that, understand that, and just start getting excited for all the commie, butt kicking, blood shedding action that you're going to get.
It's a great idea, guys. It's great to do this like this, because unfortunately, you know, the backstory is something that needs to be told most of the times, unless you want to do kind of a cryptic kind of story where it's only going to be understood by the end. But if you want to go, you know, linear narrative, then this has got to be done in the beginning, unfortunately. And it's great to do it as a little side story, and then you can have fun with the 48 pages. You know, unfortunately, most of us out of time or out of just having to print 2 books, which obviously becomes more work. We just kind of have to fudge all the who's who and what's what in the beginning of a book, which usually makes the first 10, 15 pages quite text heavy, and then, you know, then we finally have to get to the fun part. So this is a great way, imaginative way, fun way to introduce everything, and then, you know, then just let it rip. So let me just go back on the actual page. So for everyone seeing, so this is right here next to the second perk. Don't forget to press this here, and you can see the free download of issue 0. So we were going on the third perk, I think, which is $8, and this is the digital edition of the 48 pages. Right?
Yeah, digital edition. It's exactly the same as the print version, except you can read it on your tablet. And then, you're gonna get a virtual high five.
So, one of those.
Always a virtual high five. And so this next one, one we're pretty excited about. We just launched it, like put it open a little bit ago, earlier today. It's just our Black Friday deal. So basically, we're trying to do something special. We figure we have a little bit left over that we can give some more away and give something back to the troops who kind of helped us with the inspiration of this book. So what this deal is for the same price, if you buy the physical edition of the 48-page book, you will get that that exact book. It's the same price and everything. But if you do the special Black Friday Gives Back perk, then we're going to send a book to the troops just for now until Sunday. We're offering this. It'll go off Sunday, probably around late night. But if you can do that, if you're thinking about backing and you need a reason to do it, this is an extra book that you don't have to pay for. You don't have to pay for shipping. You don't have to do anything. We're just doing it because we want to say thanks to our troops that are overseas serving while Thanksgiving's happening. That's just something that we want to do, and we're going to send it to Operation Gratitude that does a lot of care packages for our troops overseas, active duty military. So yeah, that's it. And you would obviously get a virtual high five. I actually didn't include it. I'll go back and fix that later. Got to get the high five in there, so I'll make sure that's in there. Don't worry, you'll get that too.
Yeah. Hey, and when you go back in, Dan, put that as a featured thing.
Can do. Yeah, I will.
Awesome. So this was the new perk that you guys were mentioning you were going to reveal. So it's a Black Friday. So obviously it's going to be, well, it's this weekend. It's this Friday, isn't it? Black Friday.
That's
right. So it runs from the 21st to the 25th. So people have until Sunday, right? Sunday to jump on this. And then you remove this perk. Is that right?
Yeah, it'll be removed after that. And like I said, we just wanted to do something special. And we figured, you know, it's the same as the other perk. You just have a limited time to, if you choose that perk, you get to help somebody else that is overseas. You know, get a free comic book. We hope that would be something that people would enjoy. And ERTs is in the chat, and it does include a virtual high five. Don't worry, it includes the virtual high five, and I'm gonna go change that. Don't worry.
Hey, you know, guys, like when you're like those guys are over there away from their families, right? And serving the country and being patriotic and awesome. And we get to go and sit down with our families and enjoy Thanksgiving dinner with all the dressing and trimming and everything that goes with it. And wouldn't it be nice to send one of those guys 48 pages of entertainment that they could have for next Thanksgiving to enjoy, you know?
Absolutely.
So let's think about those guys and hit that one, man. You can go ahead and buy the book, and then we'll just send a free copy right on over. You don't have to worry about a thing.
If there was a book right for this sort of perk, H.I.R.O is the one. Very good. So you for the same price, you get your own copy, and you get one copy as well to be able to be sent to the armed forces. And you still get as well that digital video that we'll have to see how they're going to be made. So now let's have a look here. And now we got here 2 48-page signed comics. So I'm kind of guessing this is the double dip perk, right? So you get 2 copies for yourself.
Yep. 2 copies. Keep one for yourself, give one to someone else, kind of situation there. It's exactly what that is.
Or maybe just seal it, get it graded, because obviously in a couple of years this will be worth 5 times more. So
that's right. Get that bad boy slab.
In a slab, a plastic, nice.
That's right. Yep.
Then we got here, I guess, a similar perk to the Black Friday one. Is it?
It's a similar one. It's a more expensive, obviously, but we figured we would, this is just the Black Friday is just a very quick one. This one, if you buy a copy, then 2 get sent out to the military. That's the one we're going to leave up longer, throughout the whole campaign. And
the difference is you're paying for 3 copies. Out of the kindness of your heart, 2 of those are going right to the armed forces.
Yeah. And so the other one, we're going to use our money to make sure that those people get those books. So that's kind of the difference there.
Yes. This one, the actual backers will be obviously sponsoring
Yeah.
Let's do the charity of sending
Yep.
an extra 2 copies.
And it's a great option. I think we have a couple people that have taken advantage of it, and yeah, we're very patriotic, and we love to support our military. So if we have a couple of different perk options to help make that happen, that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And let's not forget everything ships worldwide. So in terms of the backers getting their own copies of Hero, let's never forget that both of you will be sending these worldwide, anywhere in the world.
Yep.
Now we got here your name on one of Volk's plates. So Volk is this gentleman here, always hungry for power.
I don't know if we want to call him a gentleman. We won't call him a gentleman. He's
far from a gentleman.
He's a nasty dude. But yeah, so this perk is pretty cool. And what happens with getting your name on one of Volk's blades is Volk is he's a killer. He is cold as ice, and he likes to do up close work with knives. So when he kills you, if he finishes you off with a knife, then he puts it in his collection. Right? He has a big wall of knives, and he'll set it up there, and he'll etch your name so he remembers that kill in your blade. So it's a cool way to have yourself as an Easter egg in a book. And Jason has some cool ideas on how he's going to showcase those.
Yeah, that's going to end up being a 2-page spread probably of just him displaying his knife collection and all the names.
All right, got it. That's great because you got here 20 up to 20. So obviously you're going to have at least 20 blades to get all these names there. So
I guess that was Dan's brave business move right there.
I did that, and then I figured he'd have to figure out how to make it work. I like to make Jason work for his art. I like to.
I would guess a double page spread would probably be the best way to go about it. So obviously that means that you guys are still actively working on the 48 pages. Before we get there, let's just run down the list of the perks. You got a biggie one here, 300. Get knocked out by Hero. So
I'll let Jason take that one.
Yes.
Yeah, Lewis, this is my favorite one right here. Because I like as you can see from that picture, I like to draw people getting punched.
Twist it around.
So I thought it would be really fun to have somebody send me a picture of their face, kind of like in that angle or in a different kind of angle. And then I would make their likeness get knocked out by Hero. So in this perk, you'll go toe-to-toe with Hero. You might have 2 or 3 panels, but basically it's going to be a short run. You're going to run up to Hero or approach him in the wrong way, and he is going to knock you out straight cold. You don't have a chance against him. You're just a low-level guy. But your face will be in the comic book for all time and all eternity, getting knocked out. So hopefully somebody will pick that one up. I love that one, and I will have a blast drawing you, I promise.
For sure. I mean, then you have 5 of these ones planned. So 5 poor backers will get smacked down by Hero.
That's right.
Ideally, they would supply you a photo of themselves, some sort of selfie. After Friday night bar fight.
Oh, yeah. Good black eye.
Some work imagining how they look with a cheap tooth and a soft eye. Very good.
We love to see some teeth flying, man.
Yeah, well, that's as always a winner to have a nice tooth. Yeah, especially in the foreground, coming at the camera.
That's right.
500 brutal death from Hero. Oh, I see. So this one you just smack a guy out, and this one you actually go straight for the kill. Is that right?
Yeah.
And the difference is that with each tier up, your likeness is in more pages and more panels. So in the brutal death, if you were to pick up brutal death, you would go toe to toe with Hero, and you would actually be able to compete physically with him, and you would give him a run for his money.
Awesome.
So it will take several panels to show that confrontation. But in the end, you will be dealt a brutal death by Hero, and you will die. Your likeness in the book, more than a couple panels like get knocked out, you will give Hero a run for his money. You might get in a couple of good shots. You might even wound him, but he will deal you brutal death in return.
Yep.
That's it. I mean, like another famous character says, death and destiny comes. Yeah, you can run
Right.
from it, you can hide from it, but you still,
That's right.
still
Hero
alive.
cometh. Hero
Yep.
cometh.
And you got 3 of these that you intend to do. You're gonna need a few more selfies for this one from different angles.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you
That's
can
right.
get the guy over a few
Yeah.
panels. And now here, final perk, $800. Beat a villain in a story. Ooh, tell me all about this.
Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. So we kind of thought that we should give people an option. If you can have your likeness get beat up, you can have your likeness get a brutal death, but we thought like some people want more and they want to be part of the story, and that's kind of why we read comic books, right? Because we get to like have that escapism into the story. We can try to imagine ourselves in that. So this one, you actually literally get to be in the comic. Your likeness will be drawn in and you're going to be a villain. Now, you're not going to be the Volk level villain who is the big bad guy. You're going to be what we call like a mini boss for like a video game. So you're going to get around, how many pages you say, Jason?
This will be up to 5 pages.
Yeah, up to 5 pages that you will be in the book. Your likeness will be going toe to toe, and you're gonna not only give Hero a run for his money, like you're gonna worry that super soldier that you might have what it takes to take him down. But ultimately, Hero is not only gonna beat you, you know what? We just decided we're gonna throw in a brutal death for free. So you're gonna get beat. And you're going to get the brutal death, and you're going to get yourself in 5 pages of the book having that happen. And then on top of it, if that wasn't enough, you're getting the virtual high five.
Yeah, we'll always count on one of those.
Yeah. So yeah, we're trying to give a lot of value for that particular perk. I mean, if people if they believe in us enough to spend that kind of money, we want to make sure that they're happy with what they're going to get. So we have a good quantity of them fighting. And as you can see, like there's a lot of like that's 5 pages is a good portion of the book. So we're planning on major action for this book.
Indeed. Well, not to sound depressing, unfortunately, death is the only thing that is always for free. Someday a brutal death will come included in the package.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, isn't it great that we're at the point in time that everyone can have their likenesses drawn into books, isn't it? I mean, it would be fun to call Marvel or DC and say, hey, maybe you guys could have my likeness in the new Superman issue or something. They just put the phone down on you. Very good. Yeah. We got this wonderful lady. She's another one of the villainous casts.
She's kind of like an assassin that obviously an assassin for hire. So she will be not quite as prominent character you'll meet her, but she won't be as prominent right away in this book. So yeah, she's pretty cool. Volk is the one that I think he's the one that you're going to see the most as far as a villain goes, and what he's going to help drive the story along. So,
okay, so we got 48 pages. Sorry, I just missed. Is it going to be colors? It's going to be colorized, right? Completely, yeah. Fully colored.
Yes, yeah. It'll be colored. Yeah.
Who's doing the colors for you guys? Is it one of you is taking charge of that, or you're outsourcing for colors?
We've got about 2 or 3 colorists that we're outsourcing to right now for different promo pieces, and so we haven't made the decision yet on who's going to get the bulk of the book. So we're still kind of working out with them.
Okay, so being 48 pages, this is what is going to be like a paperback kind of thing, right? It's not a floppy. It's not it's not stapled together. It's going to be
it'll be a bound book, yeah.
Perfect bound. It'll have a little edge on the back.
Lovely. Okay, it's going to be fully colored. Very good. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just go up here again.
Yeah, Jason's been working with he knows how to get print projects done. Like he's worked with a lot of that in his professional life, and so we're really confident on a quality book that we're going to be able to give out. It's not just going to be like a cheesy, like we folded it together in my basement and sent it out. Like it's going to be really high quality, good glossy pages, nice thick cover. So we're excited about that part. We want to make just a top tier book if we can.
I've been talking to a lot of printers, and I think I've found someone in the States who can do the job at a really reasonable price. So we can get that. It won't take 3 months to turn around like we were thinking. It'll take more like 4 weeks to turn around. So I'm really excited about our printer options, and they're getting better. It seems like this is a market that printers are looking into pretty heavily, and I've got people coming to me, talking to me about what they can do. So that's been a real nice benefit of the community of people putting out so many projects. Like there's between Kickstarter and IndieGogo, there's so many original comic books that are coming out.
Yes.
And printers are looking for those kinds of customers. So yeah, we're in a better place now than we were a couple of years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're also getting a lot of feedback from the other creators which already launched their projects and already printed them. So obviously we all collect as a community, we all collect that feedback, and that obviously helps to spread the word. And like you just mentioned, the printers obviously notice that there's a lot of creative involvement and want to jump on that money on the table, obviously. So yeah, it's great. I'm sure there are plenty of printers in US that can handle these things. I myself am thinking on printing my next run right there instead of using a printing shop here. They're usually overpriced here in Europe, like everything else in Europe. From a glass of water, to printing a book, everything is overpriced here. And the quality is not necessarily top of the world just because you're spending more. That's usually I think that's anyone thinking that if a printer just gives you top of the price, this doesn't necessarily mean it's the best. So anyway, just to round this up, the IndieGogo campaign, you have a goal of 8,500, 25 days to go. Okay, how long is the campaign altogether? Did you choose 30 days, 40 days? I think
we did 40 days. We'll probably extend it. We're able to extend it if we like, and we'll probably do that. We're hoping that we're going to start generating some more momentum. We've got some recent backers, which has been cool. And yeah, we're hoping that, people are starting to see it enough that they might start backing us. And yeah, so that's the plan. We might extend it to 60 days. Yeah.
You sure about the extension? Because usually on fixed goals, have you double checked that with
IndieGogo? They say you can do a one-time extension up to 60 days.
With a fixed goal, not
with a fixed goal. Correct. Yep.
Right. Okay. I'm just asking because I was under the impression that extension up to 60 days it was for flexible goals. So
I thought I mean I could be wrong.
You might want. I don't want to bum you out here live.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
but you might want to check that out.
No matter what, you won't bum me out. It's all good.
Of course, you can do this as many times as you like.
Yeah, it's not it's definitely not a whatever happens. Like if we don't meet our goal, that's okay. We can come back and we're building a following now, and we just want to make good comic books. So and ultimately have fun. That was the name of the game from the beginning: is have fun, have a good time, and we're having fun. So if nothing else, we achieved that goal, which was the first thing on our list.
So. Yeah, we got a comic book that we're going to make, and people can get in early right now, and they can back it and be a part of the sort of the early team, the squad, and they're going to love it and have a great time with it. We're going to make a fun comic book. So one way or the other, we're going to make this comic.
Hey, it looks great, guys. I'm definitely a fan. And just to ask you, obviously, you have there a schedule for May. So to get it ready by Memorial Day, right? Obviously now we're still at the end of November, but as any other creator would tell you, these things usually time usually goes very quick when you're doing something like a comic book. Now I'm pretty sure May is more than a good time frame to get your 48 pages done. But just to rephrase this, how many of I'm just curious really on individual kind of a thing, but how many pages of the 48 have you already finished? Apart obviously from those pages where you're gonna have to draw in the likeness of the backers. Where are you at the moment? Half of the book is done, or what's
No, we're a couple of pages in. We're not that far in. We got about probably about, I would say, about 3 pages penciled, 2 pages inked, and then about most of the book, a big portion of the book mapped out in thumbnails. So the artwork is coming along, and it's coming along really good, but we're definitely not to the halfway point yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, this leads me to the next question, which is something I usually ask the guests in the beginning. What's your guys' background? I mean, both of you have dealt with this sort of media before. Have you done other comic books? Are you a professional artist? Do you work in graphic media? What's behind you guys? What's the story?
Well, Jason, I'll let him answer. Mine is real simple. I've in my professional life, I don't do anything with comics at all. It may sound very strange, but I'm a professional mountain biker. I take people riding bikes. I teach people how to ride bikes, and I ride my bike for fun, for work and for fun. So that's what I do for a daily job, which is really kind of strange.
That's awesome. I'd love to have that job.
It's a great job. I have to admit, I enjoy it a lot. But so I don't have a background in comics. I just have a love for the medium, and I've always been a creative. Is it INF? What is it, Jason?
What are you talking about?
Our personality type.
Oh, you're an ENFP.
ENFP is our person. Jason and I are both this same personality type. I'm always a creator. I always want to create things, and that type of personality is where we're coming from. So we feed off each other, and we've been able to do this. But once again, I'm not a professional in the industry. I'm just a lover of the medium and somebody that is really passionate about the project and about creating comics and being somebody that can put new stories out there, something fresh.
That's awesome. And sorry, ENFP, what does that stand for?
It's the Myers-Briggs personality scale.
Yeah.
And it stands for extroverted. Oh man, you put me on the spot. Let's see, extroverted, something, feeling, perceiving. So basically, Dan is the kind of, and myself too, I think, is the kind of person that sort of can feel the situation around you and know how to adapt to it to make it good. And we're constantly looking for ways to make things better and make people around us enjoy themselves more. So,
and comic books is a perfect way to make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an awesome personality to have then.
That's right.
Pretty positive, like we just try to have a good time wherever we go.
Awesome. I'm always very curious when I discover something new, but I'm not going to check that scale because I'm pretty sure I'll be out of it, being the weirdo that I am. I'm not even. and every time I do this kind of tests, I kind of lie to the test. I look at one of those questions and I go like, no, that's not me. No. And I answer everything against it. So when I get to the end, yes, you are a millionaire. Yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, check it out. It's Myers-Briggs scale is what it is.
Myers-Briggs.
It's fun to learn where you're at on the Myers-Briggs scale.
I'll have a couple of beers and then I might.
Yeah, that's a good plan. That's a good plan.
But what about
Jason,
yourself?
What do you do?
Yes.
Well, first of all, Dan was a little bit modest on himself, I'll have to say, because he's got a lot of background in project management. He's also got a lot of background in small business development. He's also got a pretty big background in marketing. And as you can see from his Twitter action that he's got, he's good at. Like he's great with people. People really dig Macho Man, and so or Macho Dan, and so he's really bringing a lot of those skills to the table where I don't have those necessarily. And then where I'm at in my professional life is I'm a creative professional. Not in comics, but in just advertising for businesses. I've had a pretty good freelance business that's going on for years, and then I've also have a professional job, a job where I work for a company too. So I've always had kind of the day job plus the side gigs going on. So I've done lots and lots of creative projects. I've got lots of finished work under my belt and lots of printers that I've worked with. And so a lot of this stuff is not new to me. And even if there is something that I run into that I don't exactly know or didn't expect, I'm pretty good about adapting to what needs to get done to get the project completed on time.
Awesome. So for any of the backers, you got two gentlemen here, which obviously sound very responsible, have experience, and as long as you guys back the project, you'll be able to receive this for sure. Comes
Yeah, and
Mike.
that's one reason that that we set the goal where we did, is because I know what goes into these projects and how much work it is. I know how hard it is. I know how late you have to stay up. I know how early you have to get up. I know about working on weekends when your family has to, go do other things and you have to stay and work. And so we want this to be not only we want it to be worthwhile, for us, not financially necessarily, but we want the end product to be really awesome, so that when we are finished with it, it is exactly what we wanted. And so we've priced it out accordingly, and that's how we got to the number that we got to. It's not like we're making a ton of money or anything, or any money necessarily. But the end product, whatever, when we get done with it, it will be something that we really want to have.
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, even if you're doing a comic book by yourself, I mean, we'll exclude the colors. Let's just say the story, the inks, and all that, and you don't have anything ready yet. You set yourself a goal such as this, as an IndieGogo campaign, and then you start working at it. That alone is a daunting task, and personal life comes around. You start getting back pain from being on top of the drawing board every day, and these things do delay. And then obviously, when you start getting more people into your team, that's always a risk, because the colorist suddenly might get the flu. 2 weeks is out, and everything gets delayed. So the more the kind of the longest end game you have, the better it is. So like that, you can always count with any possible delays. And obviously, it's always difficult to kind of gauge how long exactly a single page will take you from the actual penciling to being the final colorized version with all the edits done. It's always very difficult to judge, because a lot of it can go into it. A colorist can supply with some colors that you suddenly are not happy with, and you want a complete reversal on the tones and all that. So, for anyone listening, it's a lot of work. So obviously, when you have a couple of guys doing their first comic, or even just a single person, it's better to give yourself a good half year to actually get the project in the can. If we're talking about something like this, between 30 to 50 pages. If it is much more, then obviously you got to double up the whole process. So yeah. All right. So I mean, you guys are getting good feedback from I guess everyone. And have you been on other shows here on YouTube? Any of the bigger names kind of bringing you guys along to showcase your book?
We've been on John Malin. I've actually gotten on early in the process before we were ready, but I did have some pages done for the Zero issue and for the cover. I got onto Ethan Van Sciver's channel. One of those times where I think he accidentally put the link to the Hangout in the in the description, and somebody noticed it, and I just jumped in. And he was like,
I saw that. I think that's actually where I became acquainted for the first time with the pages, although I had seen you tweeting the project before. Yes.
Oh, that's cool, man. I mean, yeah, it was kind of like, I was like, oh man, I'm sitting here at my desk and I'm like, should I do it? Should I do it? And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it. So I just jumped in, and I got in, and he talked to me for a minute, and I got to talk about it. I was really nervous, and I didn't do a very good pitch really, but I was able to talk about it and show it and get some people familiar with it. And then actually not too long after that, he opened up, he did it on purpose this time, but he opened up this show for people to jump in and do the same thing again. I did the same thing again. Then another time, Doug TeNapel opened up his show. I got on there. So I'm kind of, I'm hunting down these opportunities and looking for it and taking advantage of it wherever I can and talking about H.I.R.O.
Awesome. Plenty of exposure already. That's great. Yeah, Dr. Naples is a really nice guy.
Hmm.
I like his streams very much while he inks and
Yes.
inks his latest book. I usually put a stream like that when I'm working on my own book. It helps a little bit because as I'm doing my own stuff, I kind of keep one eye on what the other guy is doing, and then I go like, oh damn it, that's what I should have done. And then I go and I erase everything that I'm doing and I do it all over again. And then by the time I finish with the page I'm working, it's already on another one, and I go, oh come on, man, give me a break, go slower, yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing I usually ask my guests, because these mostly comic book people, what are you guys' influences? I mean, in terms of the writing, for Dan, and because obviously both of you, as you already mentioned, big fans of the medium. And for Mutt-Man, what are your to-go guys in terms of comic book art? And take long with this, so because we have to make this over an hour. So
I'll let Jason, you take this go first.
Let's see. My influences. I mean, the greatest comic book artist of all time, in my opinion, is Jack Kirby. I love Jack Kirby's artwork and follow. I buy as many issues of Jack Kirby as I can find, the ones I can afford. So I do have a pretty good Kirby collection, and I go to it quite regularly, especially in terms of like how you choreograph fight and how you do dramatic entrances and things like that. Um, I'm a big fan of McFarlane. I was a '90s kid, so McFarlane was, one of my top influences coming up. The Image Revolution happened when I was like in high school, so I was all over that stuff and following them constantly. Jim Lee, so Mark Silvestri. Um,
can
uh,
I just interrupt you there? Is there
yeah.
Walter Simpson as well? Because I can see behind you there. There's a I
Oh
think
yeah,
there's a
definitely. Walt Simonson Walt Simonson affected me as at a very young age. I was probably like 11, which is a little early a lot of times for comic book readers to get into it. But I saw a Walt Simonson Thor, and that really like got me. The dynamic way that he did Thor and the cape got me. And I can still remember sitting at my little desk in my room and drawing, trying to get to create the same Thor that he drew.
Mhm.
Man, I wish I still had that image. I'd love to see it, but drawing that out. And I used to draw Transformers a lot, and GI Joes and He-Man and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, well, Walter in these big, heavy capes. I think he's the predecessor to what McFarlane does later on in Spawn.
Yeah, yeah,
Really
absolutely,
big cape.
absolutely. McFarlane was just so influential to me because of the way that he would put. It was a cartoony style, but there was a lot of realism attached to it in detail format. So that's what I still am drawn to. I like um, I like when someone has something that's unrealistic looking, but they put a realistic texture on that.
Yes.
And I feel like that McFarlane's popularity soared at that time because people that were like me and close to my age were really drawn to that.
Mhm.
That kind of like dark realism attached to sort of cartoon shapes.
What's your take on Greg Capullo, because he takes over Todd McFarlane very early on the
Hmm.
Spawn continuity, and although obviously Todd has his own style, which kind of is in
I've
some of the
always said
lines.
I've always said that Greg Capullo, especially his early stuff, it looks like McFarlane and Jim Lee had a baby, in style because it's like um, he's got some pretty stiff lines, some like bold striking and heavy line work, but
Mhm.
then he will come back and do some of the gnarly detail like capes and tatters and things
Yeah,
like
that's
that
what I like
around it.
about him. It's very
Yeah, it's a
organic.
great style. It is a great style. Fantastic. And I mean, Batman's the perfect book for Greg Capullo too.
Yeah, he's quite productive as well. I mean, obviously he's worked on Spawn. Is he still there? No, I don't, he's not doing Spawn any longer,
No,
I
I
think.
think he did 100 plus issues, or I don't know how
Absolutely,
many,
yeah,
like
at
a
least, man.
lot of issues.
Yeah, because he picked up straight after. I mean, McFarlane, I think
Yeah.
he took it for a year, I think, and then right after that, it was Capullo, and I was collecting it until issue 100, just really to make a round number because I kind of lost interest around issue 70 or something. The last 20 issues for me was just like was inconsequential, but he was still there, and I'm pretty sure you went much further than that because even in the early 2000s, I was still seeing his art. So obviously, I collected throughout the 90s, and to be honest, it was probably the only title I was collecting, apart from maybe another Marvel title, because properly said, I stopped collecting them early 90s. Again, I only dipped into the Image titles in the beginning, and not all of them. Uh, the Liefeld stuff never really the Young Blood and all that. I mean, the covers look great, but I wasn't really into getting just another GI Joe crossed with Thundercats, and I was just it was there was a couple of good ideas at Image, but not all of them. I think they were all decent ideas, but not great ideas. So by the time the 90s are ending, I was really down to just two titles on an ongoing basis, really just down to that. Yeah, and Dan, what's your in terms of writing? What's the sort of
Yeah.
stories you were into?
So I'm a big fan of Ed Brubaker. He did some Captain America, and it's really good. He did some cool crime books. I can't remember the name of the last one that I read, but he's an awesome all around writer. I think Warren Ellis. Some of his stuff I can take it or leave it, but as a rule, he has some kind of cool concepts and things that I've enjoyed. Let's see. I'm trying to think who else that. I really like Mike Mignola. He's an artist, but he's also a writer, and he wrote Hellboy. And that's like one of the. I just think that whole world he's created, that like BPRD world, is just super interesting, and he doesn't like put too much into his like word, but like he doesn't like strangle you with words, and I really enjoy just his style and his writing. It goes so well with his art. I guess that makes sense since it's coming from him. I'm trying to think, like Jeff Lemire has some cool stuff out there that's really kind of interesting work. I'm sure
doesn't get too wordy. You're right about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Mignola, I love his art too. It's almost like his art's almost a little indie in itself. I really go for that kind of look, comic book, and I like his kind of exaggerated bodies and like the world's around. It's almost everything's almost backlit in his world, and all the eyes glow and stuff like that. And I really dig it. I love all his it's almost simple, but it's so simple that it tricks you because behind that the artist is more complex than you can imagine. But I like him. I used to really enjoy Rick Remender. I've kind of fallen off personal reasons for some of him, but he's written some really good stuff. Like that Black Science book he wrote was incredible. I don't know if anybody's ever read that, but it's a really cool series. And I listen to a lot of. I'm a big audiobook nerd. Whenever I'm working, like if I'm wrenching on bikes or whatever at the shop, I'm listening to audiobooks. I put my headphones in and I jam those. So there's a bunch of like, I have a lot of writers that are novelists that I've drawn inspiration from too. And just, obviously I don't have as much of a page to put my ideas in, but I'm able to still get inspiration from them. So I do a lot of audio booking.
Well, all this stuff about cybernetics and AI comes all down from Isaac Asimov and up to a certain point, Robert A. Lane. Any of these two guys kind of a basis for your sci-fi entertainment in terms of writers?
Who'd you say was the first one?
Isaac Asimov and Robert
Asimov, yeah. And Heinlein. I wouldn't say that they're direct influences. They definitely. I've listened to some Heinlein before, like Starship Troopers and a couple. So there's something else I listened to of his, and Asimov has like oh man, now I won't be able to think of his book. Anyway, it doesn't matter what the name of it is, but I've listened to their stuff, and they're they were writing these back in, I guess, like probably the 80s or earlier. I can't remember exactly when those books were coming out, but they had crazy science fiction like minds, and they could come up with this just wild stuff. And a lot of theirs was like set over decades and even like centuries and things like that. I would say that probably I have gotten some inspiration from listening to that. I listen to a lot of sci-fi stuff. But this, I don't know. Like I said, Jason kind of told the story of where this came from a dream. So I don't know. Maybe I was listening to some crazy science fiction book before I went to bed and ate a bunch of ice cream or something, and it gave me these crazy dreams. But yeah.
Dan's just a phenom is what it comes down to. He's a phenomenon of a human being.
I guess that's what it is. I tell everybody, I laugh that I give Jason at least 2 ideas a week, and most of them are bad, but every once in a while there's one that we can write down into the possibilities book. So
anyway, I was just teasing you guys because both Asimov and Heinlein, they're a couple of boring old farts.
Yeah, I've listened to his stuff. I've listened to both their books. Starship Troopers is good, but
yes.
It gets very political and very like psychoanalytical. It's very it's very strange.
I gotta say, from both of them actually, Elaine is if we're gonna get literary here, Elaine is actually the best of the 2 writers.
Yeah,
and
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and if anyone ever has a chance to read his magnus opus, which is Stranger in a Strange Land, it's a really tough book to get through. I mean, you got to read each page 2 or 3 times, you're in trouble.
Yeah, right.
You'll think that, Jesus, this guy knows how to write. But their ideas were really out there. I mean, Starship Troopers is a great book, and and he's got a lot of good stuff. And Asimov has been years since he started. The man has been gone for a long time, but yeah, he also had some outlandish concepts. They're really cool.
Yeah, he had a lot of crazy stuff that he talked about.
Awesome, guys. Just time for me now. Make a little aside here, a little interruption, just to acknowledge the chat. You guys have a big bandwagon here following you, man.
Yeah,
that's the first time I've ever had anyone being so proactive here on the chat. I'm just gonna call out or make a roll call here of whoever is on the chat, just to say hi and thanks. We got some Mulioki. Not sure, he's interacted before. I'm not sure if he's still in the chat, but I think so. We got, and I'm always bad at reading these things. There's such creative names here. But I got Septinov 7 of 9.
Yeah,
that's our boy Septinov right there. Yeah,
Septinov, he's a big supporter. We love that guy. He gets in a lot of our chats. So special shout out to you, Septinov. We appreciate it, brother.
Awesome. We got Ortiz. Yes, I do know him by name. He's been quite a fan on Twitter, and we got
great guy. Yeah, great guy.
We got the Big Pixel Trader, which soon enough he will have a couple of streets named after him, or at least a high school. Glad to have you in the chat, man. Thanks. Awesome, he's right here. We got also a new arrival here, Bruce Patnote.
Yeah, Bruce is doing a really cool book too, by the way.
Oh, really?
Wreck.
Yeah, the Wreck. It looks really good.
It's phenomenal.
It's on IndieGogo as well. So yeah,
Bruce is amazing. You got to check out the Wreck if you haven't seen it. It is awesome.
Yeah, check it out, definitely.
I heard about that. Is it listed already on the IndieGogo campaign?
Yeah,
he's rolling, man. He's doing great.
He's doing it. He's doing it. Yep.
Right. Yeah, I think I heard about that. Definitely, I will check that out, and everyone can check that out as well. Wrecked, and but then we got Macho Dan, but you're here, so I'm not gonna.
That's me. Yeah, I'm just being nice in the chat. I just want to interact as much as possible.
And I thank you guys very much because I never have a chance to do that because I'm controlling here the mixing panel and all that. So I
Yeah,
ran out of hands. All right, guys. I
all
mean,
good.
usually at this time, this is an unusual show time for me. Obviously, it's all down to you guys. You're my guests. I wanted you guys to come whenever you were available. But I usually do these things on towards the weekend, Friday and Saturday. So usually we have a little bit more time to have a second part of the show, second section, where it becomes kind of an open forum to speak about whatever you want, strip clubs, whatever you like to speak about. But usually usually the conversation just goes around comics and modern comics and whatever and whatnot. So unless you guys have anywhere else to be and you need to wrap this up soon, the floor is open if you want to do any comments or anything and speak about anything you like centered around comics. Obviously, you're having your campaign right now. You're getting your exposure. People are coming to see it. There's quite a lot of there's always a lot of projects, comic book projects on the crowdfunders. I've noticed now, obviously, because Pixel Trader, which is in the chat, has so kindly done a web page which kind of gathers a lot
Yep.
of comic book projects together, and there's quite a lot of them listed there right now. So of all different kinds and different qualities. What do you think about it, all this competition? And it seems that kind of the gates have opened to this flood of
Yeah.
titles. I think
Yeah. Well, can first of all, I do have some limited time right now, so I have to jump.
I'm the same. We're having Thanksgiving tonight, so I got to go buy some.
Yeah, I got to finish up some things before the end of my day, so that I can enjoy my holiday. But before I go, I do want to just sort of talk about this group of people that has kind of assimilated under this banner of Comicsgate.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what Comicsgate is right now. Presently, what it was people wanting different comics and wanting less preachy, less political comics. And what that did was it opened up a sort of a flood. I don't know if you call it a flood, but it opened up the door for a lot of people who had an idea that they wanted to get out into a sort of a group of people that they felt would be fair to them. And I have to say, like, it is some of the most creative, some of the most unique and different ideas that I've ever seen in one place. And I think that people would be so remiss if they don't dip into this community right now and see what's happening in comics, because there's a lot of, like you said, there's always a lot of comics projects. There's always a lot of unique things, but I feel like there's this concentrated group, this concentrated movement of very unique and sort of like next wave thinking creators. And I'm just really happy to be here. Hopefully we get funded and our project can move forward. But if not, we have met and sort of rubbed elbows with people that are probably going to be big names in the future, because I just see so much talent, so many great stories, so many. And really the thing that pushes it along is the positive energy. I receive a lot of the positive energy from people. People are very cool and very happy for you when something goes well. And also, I'm trying to give it, like I'm excited about some of these things. I'm kind of a fanboy with some of these people. And so it's really cool to be a part of this kind of this movement. And I don't know what you call it now. Maybe it's still Comicsgate, but I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Phase
Absolutely.
2. It's just phase 2.
Yeah,
no,
phase two.
I agree with everything Jason said. Like, the coolest thing for me, I said earlier, like the word that we underlined on the whiteboard when we were doing this thing is that fun is the key. And we've had fun making it. We've had fun being on these live streams. I've had fun meeting so many really cool people that just genuinely want to be nice and appreciate your artwork and let you know that they do. They'll and it's a really neat community, and I haven't experienced it quite the same anywhere else in anything else I've done. So yeah, the worst thing that happens is that we make a bunch of friends and we have to relaunch a campaign later, then I call it a win still. So yeah,
absolutely, yeah. And yes, carry on.
No, I'm good. I'll keep going and won't trail off for a long time if you don't stop me. So.
Yeah, no, very good. Well, I'll echo both of your sentiments, and I'll just add that you know, it's a great opportunity, like Mutt-Man was saying, for anyone wanting to get to know new comics and new creators to, you know, take a risk. No, don't just judge a book by its cover, or judge the book by its cover in case the cover is a kick-ass cover. Do take a leap of faith. You know, I mean, back this book. And try to back as many books as you can on this. At least, if not on the whole crowdfunding scene, at least, you know, visit Pixelstrator page and check out all the titles all the way to the bottom, because, you know, anyone taking time to actually put himself out there and do a comic book, it takes a lot of courage, you know, and it takes a lot of work. And you know, no matter if the book is just 20 pages or 50 pages like H.I.R.O, you know, and doesn't matter if it takes 3 months or 2 years, it's always a lot of work, and there's a lot of dedication and love in it. So I always say to people, you know, invest a little bit, not talking about money, but a little bit of time and a little bit of interest. Take a risk, and because some of these guys might go on to do, if not this book, then the next one might be a big classic. You never know. And and if you don't take that leap of faith, if you don't invest a little bit, $15, $20, whatever, you kind of you know, the flame always dies a little bit from the creator side. Obviously, you guys are happy to relaunch and all that, but not everybody can do that, and you know, usually people kind of get a little bit discouraged, and you know, eventually the next Mike Mignola might be just around the corner.
That's right. That's right.
So I always say, people, you know, don't just neglect these creators. You know, try to at least see what you can do. You know.
Sure.
Well, thank you very much, guys, for coming. I don't know if you have any other closing statements. If not, we'll just let you go on, because I can see that Dan is being eaten by his werewolf there, walking around in the background.
Yeah, my big old beast down here. Yep, I gotta feed him and I gotta feed me.
Well, there we go. So, guys, thank you very much for coming once again.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate your time.
Very cool, Louis. We appreciate it, man.
My pleasure, and the best of luck with the project. And I think I'm going to jump on it as well as soon as I get paid this Friday.
All right, man.
That's how you do it. Thanks, Louis. We really appreciate it, man. It's a great stream today, and happy to be part of it.
Well, glad you guys enjoyed it. Thank you to everyone that jumped in, and well, we'll see you again another time. Bye-bye.
Yep. Have a great, guys.
Bye-bye.